never rests.
Careless in the sky. What a thrilling time to be alive.
Happy Sunday to you. It's the Georgia Show here on the DawgsHQ YouTube channel, the Rusty Mansell Twitter feed, the DawgsHQ Facebook. Look, if there's somewhere to be, that's where we are. Man. And appreciate you guys tuning in this evening. Not exactly a huge shocker on Saturday in Athens, although Kirby Smart does keep his streak alive of not covering in these huge spreads. I thought that they might back into this one, Rusty, against Charlotte, but the Dogs able to have a quiet day at the office, all things considered. A really nice win for them. 35-3, the final score in Athens, and an opportunity to get a lot of guys involved in this one, Rusty. But there were a couple of names I think that jumped off the page really early on in this one, and Georgia kept the starters even a little further than I thought that they would, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they had to. I mean, you really wanted it. I think it was 21-0, and you got a 28-0 late, and then you give up you had a pick and you give up a field goal to make it 28-3. So that interception probably said, "Hey, you got to come back out and play the second half a little bit. Let's get one more if I put these other guys in." But it's funny. I talked with someone. I talked with someone in that building today. I said, "Hey, are y'all practicing today?" They said, "No, we practiced yesterday." Well, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it does. Today doing a walkthrough, but yeah, man, you get through that, and you set Drew Bobo, which he'll be fine on. Friday he'll be fine. Ernest Green should be good to go, and sounds like made a note today on DawgsHQ. Chauncey Bowens may be a little bit closer than everybody thinks, and that would be good news. You got to follow. Need to see how the week goes, but talked with some people today, and they're like, "Hey, ever since about Thursday, he started turning a corner a little bit. So might have a good chance to get Chauncey Bowens, which would be great news to have that 1-2 punch of Chauncey Bowens and Nate Frazier. It just kind of works with those two guys. Don't really matter how you interchange it. Some have started some games, some haven't, but you get those two together, and you kind of get the hot man out of them, and you ride with that one, but. Sounds like he's got a better than chance than I thought a week ago.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That'd be huge. And really, it's huge, I think, to have that opportunity to rest Bobo and rest Green and, anybody who was a little nipped, just give them the week off. And Georgia certainly did that. And it was to no disadvantage. Primarily in this one, Rusty, and not too surprising, a rushing game. For the Dogs. Gunnar Stockton went for 196 in the pick, but was, still pretty strong completion percentage-wise, 81% on the day. But it was the ground game that really made the most noise. Nate Frazier, 54 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then the youngster, Bo Walker, 48 yards and 3 touchdowns on the day. A precursor of things to come for the young man, perhaps.
I've liked him, man. I'm telling you, it's just something about him. He's just hard to tackle. He's a dadgum battering ram. You know what I mean? He bounces off people. He's got a squatty body. He's built like a dadgum igloo cooler. You know what I mean? And they can run. And it's just hard to square him up, it seems like. And he got a chance yesterday, and obviously he's playing against Charlotte, but you can only do what is in front of you. He had a really good day and scored some touchdowns. You can tell the reaction of everybody. They were happy for him. And this is a kid that, I don't know how much. We'll find out Friday. We'll find out if they're looking at him this year or they're going to protect that red shirt. You know what I mean? If they're going to protect that, or they're going to play him, and do they need him this year, and those types of things. We'll find out Friday on him.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned igloo cooler. He reminds me a little bit of Maurice Jones-Drew out there.
That's what everybody says.
He's got that thick build, man. He looks. Yeah. I mean, he's just not a guy that you want to come into the hole with. I mean, he can put it on you. Like you said, the 1-2 punch, I think, important for Georgia moving into this game, certainly. But they had a lot of guys involved in the ground game. Dwight Phillips, 7 attempts for him, 45 yards. Rod Robinson, in there playing some snaps for him. I played some fullback as well, which is always nice to see. Make fullbacks great again is what my thought.
Give me a neck roll.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I put this in my notes. I did the snap count today. Did you know that Georgia had a kid named Brandon Mathis on the team?
I did not.
Yeah, I did not either. I was unaware of who Brandon Mathis was, but apparently he is a running back for the University of Georgia. And good on Brandon Mathis for getting himself some snaps on senior day and getting involved. You go flip over to the passing game, Rusty. Noah Thomas, 68 yards, kind of continues a really good trend for him. Zach Branch caught all 4 of his targets for 55 yards. CJ Wiley with 3 receptions for 20 yards, and then the rest of it just spread around. It was a good opportunity, Rusty, just to get everybody involved, and I think that they did a nice job of that, man. And that kind of being the case, let's talk about some of the vets and some of the youngsters in this one. You and I discussed earlier in the week, and I mentioned this in our notes. Rashawn Dinkins played quite a bit on Saturday, and looks like, that may be one of those guys that could be next guy up in the back end there.
They're this close to that young man playing, I would say, like some real minutes, like real minutes. They're giving him a really good look as a true freshman safety. This guy can run, this guy can tackle, he can cover. When you play the back end for a Glenn Schumann, Kirby Smart defense, you can't bust because the inside linebackers and the safeties make the calls. So you got to know a lot of stuff there. But I'm telling you now, he's close. Again, we should get a lot of answers on Friday because you're not going to have another one of these games. Every game from here on out has a lot of importance. And every game they play from this point on, if you're playing in real minutes, they think you can help the team. So 27 is a guy, 27 and 24, Bo Walker, those are 2 guys that I think I'm just going to watch Friday and say, okay, does Bo Walker get 5-6 snaps? And is Rashad Dinkins in on 3rd down? I mean, do they think he can cover better than some of the guys they've been playing? Because they have been searching for answers at safety. And, I just don't know if they've got what they think is enough right now. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, no, I think it's huge for Rashawn Dinkins. And to me, Rusty, he's a guy, people I think got a little maybe caught up with stars looking at Rashawn Dinkins and thinking maybe, he was just kind of a late add-on. Go back and watch Rashawn Dinkins' tape, man. I'm telling you, this is a guy who plays so physically. And that's something that I expected would translate over with the Dogs quite quickly. That's the kind of thing that they're looking for out of that safety position. But that it happened, kind of in this way, I think was huge. Another stat that really popped off to me, I don't think that I would have ever at any time in his freshman season thought that J.J. Hano would be leading the defensive line in snaps. And now I know it's Charlotte, all right? So the young guys are getting the run. But even against Charlotte, I don't think I would have had the freshman lineman not named Elijah Griffin being the lead getter in the snap share there.
Yeah, and it just tells you where they're at and trying to get people reps and you never know, guys just come on, you know what I mean? They just get better and better. And I've learned that over the years, don't write people off just yet and stay with them and see where they are. But that one, I looked at your snap count story this morning. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah. And you mentioned not writing guys off. I think that there were some people early in the season maybe that were a little bit frustrated with Ellis Robinson. Where's Ellis Robinson? And then he gets in and there's a dumb penalty and there's maybe a bust and people are saying, is this guy what we thought he was? And then he goes go gadget arms yesterday with he looked like Mr. Fantastic out there, man. I mean, his body just extended. You want to talk about climbing a ladder for an interception? I think he only played like 11 snaps yesterday, but that was one of the more athletic plays that I've seen from a Georgia defender all season. and kind of gives you a window into what can be possible with a guy like Ellis Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia's been different defensively. I mean, I've said it before, like that's not something typically Kirby likes to do, is let these guys learn on the go. He wants you to learn in practice and be ready in the game. They just didn't have a choice this year. You know, they went with Daniel Harris for a while, and after the Tennessee game, they basically they went a different direction. After that game against Tennessee, when Tennessee went after Daniel Harris, you know, they brought in Ellis Robinson, and they went after him too. But I think that Georgia trusted the ceiling of Ellis Robinson, and then you see Georgia put in DeMello Jones basically in the Ole Miss game, start giving him reps. So it's just a different day and age, man. It's no longer the, hey, we're going to play our third-year juniors. You're going to have to play these young kids. Number one, or they're going to leave. Number two, you just have to say, this guy's got a bigger ceiling than the guy in front of him, and we're going to have to let him grow up on the job. And those two kids have come – I mean, they've come a million miles. But, you know, Ellis Robinson, DeMello Jones with Dalen Everett, Georgia's in pretty daggum good shape. And Dominic Kelly, listen, he got in a game yesterday. Yep. And, you know, I know some people are asking me like, hey, man, he got burned a couple of times. And I don't take – the kid made a play on him again. One kid just made a great catch. You know what I mean? Dom was there. But I do think Dominic Kelly's a kid that you can count on in the future. I really like what I see out of him. Pretty natural, instinctive guy. Batted the first ball down. It came to his side. And you know, I think Georgia's in pretty good shape there at corner. I know they want to add some pieces, though, in this class for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about some new additions here in just a little bit. But anybody really – I mean, it's hard in a game like this, right? I mean, to say, like, who really grabbed your attention? Was there anybody that – I mean, old guy, young guy, you know, that really you just said, huh, all right, maybe the light is starting to come on for this guy, or this guy really put together something that bodes well for the upcoming games?
The good news is we don't have to wait but a couple more days and we'll find out. You know what I mean? I've been around long enough. You kind of watch the younger guys. I went back and watched just the defensive series in the second half, what you can see on the TV copy and those types of things. But just so much better of the team than Charlotte. It's hard to see, hard to say. But the question's going to be, to me, the entire question's based off that Charlotte game is going to be, did Bo Walker play himself into some minutes, and does Rashawn Deakins play himself into some minutes? Because both have been this close.
D. Will over here. This one kind of struck me yesterday. Said, I don't know if it's just me, but it doesn't seem like Ellis Robinson had 3 interceptions and leading the team. They gave that stat out yesterday. I was shocked by that too. I don't know that I realized that Ellis Robinson was leading the team in interceptions. Pretty strong testament to him, especially having not started the season, right? Mm-hmm. But just a guy back there, man, a really, really outstanding playmaker.
Yeah, he's a guy. He's long. I mean, He's got that Georgia DB profile. I mean, they're good right there. Obviously, you want to have more depth, but I think he's a really good player.
He's one of those guys, Rusty, to me, that like I think he's going to be. He's been really good this year. I think he'll be excellent next year. I think that sky's the limit probably for him at the next level too. I think that the NFL is going to love his skill set and really, really fit him well. I imagine he's going to represent Georgia quite well at the next level. Speaking of repping, we're repping for our friends over at Modelo. It's Modelo season, and they want you to get in the game, man. They are the official beer sponsor of the college football playoff. Cool, crisp, refreshing lager. Just a great all day beer, right? I mean, one of those, if you're gonna have a few pops on game day, or look, maybe on Thanksgiving Day, I imagine some folks will need to, you want to get away from the family a little bit, grab yourself a Modelo and make sure that you are drinking responsibly. Beer is imported from Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. It is Modelo season. Go Dogs, go Modelo. Rusty, we mentioned the idea of some additions. We got to talk some recruiting in this one because look, it's here. I mean, signing day is upon us. It's going to be what are we, about a week and a half, right? So from all the big dates, the Jared Curtis buzz continues to just on and on and on. And I can tell that you're looking for, I can tell how glad you are that Jared Curtis is waiting until the last possible day to sign. And look, there's been a lot of back and forth. You saw national articles that Vanderbilt's expecting the flip. You saw that Steve came back today and dropped some info on the board. And I won't give all that away, but get over and check that out too. This is one of those things that, let's just call it what it is, man. It's going to be like this until the end. And until he has signed his papers, we are going to be going down this road with Jared Curtis. And, I get it, man. He's that kind of talent. And I don't think that his camp was quite counting on Gunnar Stockton having this sort of season. So there's probably some extra considerations for them that they did not anticipate. But Vanderbilt still very much a mention in this thing, Rusty. I think that you and I have both been consistent in what we've heard on this. And I think that really from my end, at least, nothing's changed.
Sums it up. You want to go to the next topic? Listen, I can only say it so many times and kind of said it yesterday, said it today on DawgsHQ and kind of my thoughts on where things are. And, I think you look at that, and I do understand why he's moving his signing day, because they now play in the state championship on that Thursday, the 4th, okay? And didn't want that distraction around his team, wants to celebrate with his teammates, and he wants to celebrate, he wants to do his signing at his school. I get that. So that's going to be, we'll watch it. So that will keep the eyes of the recruiting world 2 extra days. And listen, I've said it publicly. I think he sticks with Georgia, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Vanderbilt's not trying. Okay. And so things can change, but talked to a lot of people over the last 24 hours, and based off the conversations that I've heard, I still think he's sticking with Georgia. So we will see how this thing unfolds, but he's committed to Georgia twice. I've done numerous interviews with him. I've been to Nashville. I've seen him 3 or 4 times. I actually saw him down in Fort Lauderdale this summer at the Overtime Elite Series. Got a chance to spend some time with him there and talk to him. And not one time has it ever come up about playing as a freshman. Now, you want to do that. You want to have that opportunity, but I don't think the decision to commit to Georgia was based off, hey, I'm going to be the day one starter. You come to Georgia, you got to compete. Ryan Puglisi's there to compete. You know what I mean? He knew he had to compete. Gunnar Stockton's waited his turn. So could it be a different path, with Gunnar coming back? Yeah, can be, but Gunnar's got 1 more year. You know what I mean? Your career isn't built off next year. If you've got longer goals, the second year and the third year and all those things will be your money years. So, we will see. But that is what Vanderbilt is selling. They're selling, you come here, you stay home, and you can start day one here. This is your team right off the bat. You ain't got to wait another year. You ain't got to wait a year and a half before you ever play another game. You can play in August, and that's their sale. And if I'm
it's a good pitch. That's a great pitch. I mean, in this day and age,
yes, that's exactly.
Yeah, I mean, in this day and age, that is the number. Like, all right, everybody wants to talk about NIL. Sure, I understand that. To me, the second thing that you hear kids say the most, I want to play early. Everybody wants to be 3 and done. Everybody wants to get their tape and get out the door. And so I get it. I think that that's a really smart play on Vanderbilt's part. They have the opportunity to sell that. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that do I think if they get Jared Curtis that they're just going to turn the keys to the kingdom over him and not go into the transfer portal and maybe bring some competition in for him? That's a possibility too, right? I mean, nobody's just not hedging their bets out here, okay?
He better trust him because he'll be enrolled when that portal's open.
Absolutely. Rusty, some commitment news today on the Georgia front. Dogs flip Penn State commit Elijah Littlejohn out of the Charlotte area. Had been committed to the Nittany Lions for some time, but had been to Georgia the last 2 weekends and really was one of those guys, even going back to our Friday show, we kind of had him as a, hey, name to watch, right? Especially while Penn State's kind of in the lurch looking for what's next. This is a guy, Rusty, that a 3-star guy at the linebacker position, does not bring to mind the guy that they lost in Shadarius Tootle. Not long like that, right? Not that big Quay Walker type. But this is a guy that I think people probably forget that Georgia's been recruiting for a long time at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Glenn Schumanns went up to Charlotte a couple times to see him, and got a chance to work him out, I believe, at the end of his junior year. And this guy they've liked, and they can credit Glenn Schumann because he stayed in there. And when that opening came open for him with Shadarius Tootle, and then with Penn State opening, they were in that thing, and they got him back-to-back weekends. And based off a meeting today with Kirby Smart, a few hours later, he's in this class.
Yeah, I think it's a nice pickup for him. It was clear they wanted another linebacker, and I think they'd probably even take another if they had the opportunity to do so, right? I mean, this is – somebody pointed out on the board today, you're going to probably lose 2 guys after this season. You'll probably lose 2 guys after next season. So, you've got a lot of talent stacked up there, but everybody's on their way, man. I mean, and they're all going to the same place because they don't recruit them to not at Georgia, right?
Yes. Yep.
Another guy wanted to touch on 2027's top running back, the number 3 player in the Rivals 300 cycle, Kamon Spell, 5-star out of the Pennsylvania area and a former Penn State commit himself, reopened things, and there's been some buzz about Georgia. He spends the weekend in Athens. And now Steve Wiltfong with a prediction in for Georgia to land Kamon Spell. Long way to go in this one. I'm not going to even try and tell you that this is one of those done deals. I'll be honest with you, Rusty. I feel better about Jaden Wade than I do whatever Kamon Spell does, to be quite frank with you. Because, we were talking about it in the group chat earlier. Penn State's going to get somebody good in. And they are going to try everything in their power to bring that kid in and make him part of it. Now, I will say, this is not a bad guy to have momentum with, to have impressed. I mean, go watch the film. Again, this is Jeremy. I know Texas today. He said, "No, this is a guy right here now." And so I'm just curious. You heard anything on Kamon Spell?
Sounds like things went well. And listen, with a 2027. To me, that's great, and that's fine, especially an out-of-state kid. You know what I mean? Like, and then you start talking about Penn State. If whoever Penn State hires, he's about the 4th person he's going to talk to, other than the athletic director, the realtor that's going to be looking for his wife a house. They're going to say, "You need to call this kid," okay? And that's going to be he's going to be one of the first ones to get a phone call. So, I've kind of been down that road before. If that kid were to commit, dang right you take him. But you also got to understand, too, the in-state kids, you got one in Parker already committed. Andrew Beard at Prince Avenue is a major, major target. Nigel Newkirk at Gainesville. They got this in-state class is loaded, so they got to make a big decision there on what they're going to do. But, there's some guys in this state, too. I don't think they take 3, in my opinion. So you got big boy decisions down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've talked about it on this show. The path for Georgia seems to be a transfer running back will probably be part of the mix in most every year. They value that experience. And it's great to have. So I think, you've got to factor that in as well. Speaking of factoring things in, you got to factor in all the factors when you're looking at your business and personal life. MyPerfectFranchise.net, the place to go to help you with that. Andy Ludicky and his team over there are super well versed in the world of franchises. They've opened many themselves, and now they are lending their expertise to you. So get over myperfectfranchise.net. They've got a number of different franchise opportunities that they can hook you up with, and they make it easy. They walk you through the process, and their services are free to you. So you got nothing to lose when it comes to talking to them. Take your business and personal life into your own hands. Get with myperfectfranchise.net today. All right, Rusty, we're turning the page here a little bit and looking ahead because it's a short week this week. And that's because Black Friday is bringing a little bit of clean old-fashioned hate, or what are they calling it? The GGG Invesco, whatever, man. I'm not calling it that. I'm calling it clean old-fashioned hate at the bins, man.
Exactly what that is.
Don't try and rename something like this. This is going to be an interesting game, Rusty. I think for a number of reasons. Look, Brent Key has brought a different element to this Georgia Tech team. There's a toughness about them. Haynes King he's rawhide leather, brother. I mean, just absolutely everything you'd want in a field general in terms of, his imprint on this team. The last couple of weeks have not been very kind to Georgia Tech, especially defensively, right? They've really seemingly struggled on the defensive side of the ball. Boston College gave them fits. Pitt really put it on them yesterday as well. Going into this one, it's Sunday. I'm just curious, kind of what are you looking for? What does Georgia have to do in your mind, or where do they spend their energy this week focused in order to kind of control the Yellow Jackets?
You better be disciplined against Haynes King. I mean, this guy's he's a problem, and he runs the ball. I think watching Pitt last night, they kept him in a pocket and it kind of made him throw, and that's not his game. Drop back passing. Another thing, too, is they got behind. They had to go into that drop back passing mode, and that's not their game. They're going to try to stay in the game, stay in front of the chains, and do everything they do with all these motions, reverse. I'm telling you right now, I mean, it is straight up basically triple option wing T with this running quarterback, just out of different formations. They do it out of shotgun. They do it everything, and they will formation you to death. Georgia likely without C.J. Allen this week too, so you're going to have to have some disciplined linebackers in there. They will stress you from sideline to sideline. Defensively, Georgia Tech's not very good. I mean, from what I've seen, Mike Bobo and those guys, they should get some points right here. But defensively, it worries you with Haynes King, and especially the way the last 2 years, the way he's played. So, you wonder coming off two performances like that. But listen, this is Georgia Tech. I don't care what the records are. Georgia's going to get their best shot from Georgia Tech this week. Georgia's the better team. I'm not going to sit here and beat around the bush on it. They need to handle business and need to get on them early and not have this thing like a Florida game where Georgia was a better team. And next thing you know, it's 24-20. You're down there biting your nails in the fourth quarter again because Haynes King, this guy's a problem. And listen, I know Brent Key. I've known him a long time. And I've said this about Brent Key. Brent Key hates Georgia as much as any human being on the face of the earth. And that's what that should be. Brent Key hated Georgia when he was at Central Florida. You know what I mean? I would hang out with him some in places and coaching clinics and stuff like that. I've known him a long time. This guy's not, this isn't for show. This dude hates to the core of his bone, I'm talking about. So don't think he won't have this team ready to roll as much as he can. But, if Georgia jumps on them, I think offensively and get a couple stops early, it really could be a good day for Georgia. And somebody said, yeah, good, because Kirby hates Georgia Tech. Yeah, I'm not saying Kirby loves Georgia Tech. I can assure you that's not the case here, but I'm just speaking from my experience around Brent Key for the last 10, 12, 15 years. That dude, he does not like Georgia. So they're gonna get his best shot, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was interesting while you were talking about, controlling it sideline to sideline, and it made me think back on the snap count, and we saw a lot of run, and we've seen kind of a tick up in the last couple of weeks for Chris Cole. And he's a guy that I think could be very important in this particular game. Yeah. You mentioned C.J. Allen being out. Look, Chris Cole's a big, fast guy with a lot of great instincts. He's rangy, and he's a guy that can be an impact maker in a game like this. His game fits really well, I think, into managing sort of that option game that Georgia Tech loves to run. And I could certainly see him being a factor in this one. I also think that this is another opportunity for that young old Elijah Griffin, man, who had himself a real fine game against Charlotte and has just been putting together nice work week in and week out. I could see him being a factor in this one as well.
Yeah, defensively, you got to get stops, man. You got to get stops and get Georgia Tech out of their game, and that's exactly what Pitt did last night. Pitt jumped on them so quick, Georgia Tech was out of their game all the way to the end. And it calls them to do some things they don't like to do. And, they're going to bring a different package next year with a quarterback that I think the world of, and Aaron Philo. This kid can throw the ball. He's not the run threat that Haynes King is, but they got some different packages there with some different things. But you got to get them out of there. You got to get them out of their comfort zone, and that's what Pitt did last night. Got them out of that thing, and it was just too little, too late. They never could catch up, and they had a pick six for a touchdown and had a bunch of stops. Credit Pitt for jumping on them like they did, but Georgia's a better team here. I'm not going to sit here and try to blow. They should handle this team, but you'd be a fool not to think that they're not going to. Georgia Tech's not going to walk out there. I'm very interested in the split on the building. It's going to be a majority Georgia fans.
Oh, yeah.
There's no question. I want to see the split because those jokers. Not only do they sell that game for $10 million, the prices on that game are insane. The tickets are insane for that game. So I want to see the split, but I have very confident saying it'll be a majority Georgia fans there.
Apropos of nothing, how do you feel about it being at the Benz? I'm not a big fan of it personally.
No, I'm not. And it would be great to be. It would be great to be on to be at Bobby Dodd because that on the on campus stuff there too, and it kind of it's just weird. You know what I mean? Like Georgia, Florida's going to be there next year. That's going to be different.
Yeah.
And I know why they're doing that one, but kind of weird to me how that thing is. We'll see. I want to see. And listen, it doesn't really matter because I sat in that stadium last year and it was about 90-10 Georgia Tech, and it took 8 freaking overtimes and put the damn Dan Jackson helmet on the ball or they lose. So I'm just interested in how when you walk out there, what does it look like and that mix. But Georgia needs to win some games in there. Georgia's had some problems in there. The good news is Georgia's had problems in that building in December. So it's still going to be November.
Yeah.
It's been those SEC championship games where Georgia's had some issues in that building. Did beat Ohio State on the 31st. And correct me if I'm wrong, that the Ohio State game technically ended on January the 1st. So
that is correct.
Yeah. So those things, but it'll be real interesting to see how that happens and really, what Tech did for that selling that game.
One quick note I did want to touch on before we kick off here. Georgia down a player who's no longer with the team. Nair Daniels arrested on over a dozen charges today. The report comes out. 2 counts of cruelty to children, fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer, and affixing materials that reduce or increase light transmission reflective windows. Those are felonies. Reckless driving, maximum limits, 2 counts of stop sign yield, driving on roadways, lane for traffic, list goes on and on. The big man no longer with the team, and I don't believe that we expect him to be with the team moving forward.
No, I don't think he's going to be on the team. In fact, I think he was going to go in the portal anyway.
Right.
He's basically third string, but that has nothing to do with the value of putting people's lives at risk and the speed and those types of things. But, Georgia, knock on wood, has been, controlling a lot of those things. And you had something like this happen today, and you know what the narrative is going to be, but it hasn't been the same. Kirby Smart and those guys have really made some improvements with this. And this will be another reason that a young man will not finish his career. He will not leave the way he probably wanted to leave that building. But from everything I heard this afternoon, he is no longer going to be a part of the team at Georgia. And I understand that.
Yep. Hate to see it, but is what it is. Certainly the case. And like you said, probably was portal bound.
My man Brad Bush there says his wife would let him buy tickets. Brad, I'm not trying to start any arguments. Go ahead and get those and just ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
The credit card bill won't come in until the end of the month. Be like, I don't know what happened, but my buddy at work got me some tickets and we showed up at the game. We had a great time. So
yeah. He told me he'd pay me back.
Hey, the old saying is better to ask for forgiveness than permission. So but I do understand those things are they're pricey. I had no idea as a couple because we work, so we get a ticket into the game, but
right.
I've had people text me. I was like, "What? They're how much?" I had no idea.
Yeah.
Things were so much.
Yeah, 3:30 kickoff on Friday. Going to be an interesting.
It's going to be interesting because now you got the Lane Kiffin watch.
Oh boy!
So Lane Kiffin plays at 12. Okay, does he walk in his press conference and they give an answer, or does Hayes Fawcett tweet out the story? If Hayes Fawcett tweets out a graphic on Lane Kiffin, it's going to be an all-timer. It is.
I told somebody
that will make Hayes Fawcett life if he gets to do the Lane Kiffin decision.
I told somebody yesterday what I don't know how the whole thing's going to play out. I haven't necessarily followed it that closely, but I'd hope that, the announcement after the Egg Bowl is he comes in and he does that thing from Wolf of Wall Street. And he's like,
I'm not leaving.
I'm not effing leaving.
And knowing Lane, he'll pull his shirt off. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Lane got in shape, and he's starting to go. He's starting to go shirtless everywhere. But listen, I don't know where in the heck what's going to happen. People ask me my if I had to bet today, just trying to put pieces of the puzzle, I would say LSU. But we'll see. We'll see at some point Friday. So and then Texas A&M. So all the games Friday have a lot to do. If Georgia handles business, they're certainly going to be watching that Texas A&M game, because if Texas wins that game, it sounds like Georgia will be right back in this thing the following week.
Absolutely. Guys, look, we'll be back with you later this week. We got DawgsHQ Plus coming. We got Dog Talk Live coming. We've got another edition of the Georgia Show ready for you as well coming this week. So
I'm trying to talk Roe into doing a prep and turkey live. See.
Oh my God. Let's get Modelo to sponsor that. I think
butterball and some butterball Modelo, and see what my man can do with a big turkey.
Guys, we appreciate you tuning in this evening. Thank you so much for being here with us. Get over to DawgsHQ. Come hang out with us over on the message boards. We're always hanging out over there, chatting with everybody. And if we don't see you before then, for some reason, if you're not tuned into all the shows this week, make sure you have a happy Thanksgiving and a safe one as well. We appreciate it. We're thankful for you guys. Thank you for letting us do what we do. We appreciate you tuning in this evening. We'll be back with you later this week. Have a great one.